Live. Hello, I'm too tall. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fishburners Live. And the whole purpose of this one, if you have been watching this before, you know that it's all about bringing the informal coffee conversation that we have, or beer conversation, or alcoholic conversation that we have at Fishburner about between founders and between all the headaches. And today I managed to grab two brave souls to spend time with us in this live episode. Matthew from
bookphysio.com.
bookphysio.com. Follow the link in the description below to find his booking platform. And Tam, and he is our superstar upcoming in mainstream TV soon. Is that right?
I mean, that's a hell of an intro, but yes, I guess.
Right. Okay. I will let Matthew to have a chat with Tam and find out what's the happening. And what are the headaches that these two hardworking founders are facing right now? There you go.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for the introduction. That was a fantastic introduction.
Can I get you to introduce me other places as well? That was brilliant, yeah.
Well, it's Friday night. We're going to go to a bar after this. I mean, I think you could help us beyond just the camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, happy Friday, Tam.
Happy Friday.
We were just chatting upstairs before at our members' drinks.
Yes, community drinks every Friday or every other Friday when we don't have a pitch night on.
So there's more to Fishburners beyond the pitch nights, isn't there, on a Friday night? So if you become a member, you actually get to have a few drinks.
I mean, it's literally called community drinks, right? And that's exactly what it is. We just go upstairs and have a few drinks and talk about our week with other founders, other employees, other people in startup land. And yeah, it's an interesting time.
Well, I think it's a pretty good time too, because we kind of get to unwind. Everyone's on a different journey in their startup. Some people are well on their way, they're profitable, they're making a lot of money. There's other people that are just starting off and they've got no idea of, or actually they don't even have an idea, but they want to come and do something, and they think the community is a great place to be, to sort of incubate that idea and go forward. But we all have our stresses, different stresses. And I think that a Friday, especially on this particular Friday where it's sort of community drinks orientated, that you get to actually enjoy hearing about the other stresses that other people are, undergoing and putting perspective on your own.
Definitely, yeah. I think it helps you kind of, all week long you're in your own mindset and you're in your own head about the challenges you're going through, the hurdles you've got to overcome, and just being able to come out and have a conversation with people on Friday evening with a couple of drinks and hear about their challenges, and all of a sudden you do get that perspective. You get that, it's not just me going through this, there are other people here, and everybody's helpful, right? Like
Super helpful.
You get so much advice, you get so many different insights, you get introductions, you get everything else. It's always a good time.
Well, we sit next to each other, like we're not too far from each other, so when I come in, you're normally a few hours behind me, but we catch up throughout the week, and there's others that I'm catching up with throughout the week, and I'm sure you are too. But there is a different level of understanding of what's going on at the end of the week, because everyone's sort of reached their Friday, they've got the weekend ahead of them, and that they've either got a lot to do on the weekend work-wise, or they've maybe going to take that time to enjoy. And I also think that a few drinks helps you sort of expand your little network.
Loosens the tongue.
Yeah, it loosens the tongue, but you get we sit near each other, but you get to meet some of the other people that are maybe just shoe-ins as well, or whatever. I mean, it's just fun. I think it's fun, and it relaxes the mood and de-stresses things a little bit, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good bookend to the week, right? Like you've kind of, like you said, we speak throughout the week, but getting to a Friday and having a couple of drinks, you can actually look back on it all and say, this is what happened this week. This is the good, this is the bad, this is the ugly, and get other people's opinions on it. And having everybody else come up from level 2 and from other parts of the building that we don't normally interact with, it does make it a bit easier to get to know the rest of the community and to understand what else is going on in the building.
Well, talking about stresses and challenges, obviously I'm the one in the blazer, so
you're not stressed at all?
No, of course not. No, I am. Of course I am. But I guess I'm the one that needs to sort of take the sort of position of interviewer.
Oh, okay. You're the
well, that's what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah,
anyway.
Okay, cool. Right.
I mean, I don't know if we planned it this way, but this is how it's going to unfold.
Okay. All right. Well, bring it on.
So tell me, what's the, we've all got challenges, and I know you do get on LinkedIn, so and sort of let everyone know what's going on, but firsthand what's going on. What's the latest? What happened this week? What was actually biggest challenge this week that you thought, could have been a big barrier moving forward, and what was your biggest win?
Yeah, good question. So biggest challenge happening at the moment is I've been speaking to investors about coming on board for our pre-seed round and been getting some really great feedback actually from them about what they perceive as challenges in the business and what they would want to see before they would invest. And one of the big things around my idea, Foura, which is a matchmaking service for mates instead of dates. So we bring people together 4 at a time to make friends. Investors or potential investors have a lot of question marks, I would say, rather than concerns about the monetization. How does a platform like this make money? Because other people have tried in the past and not succeeded. So what are we doing differently? So the big challenge for me this week is proving that there's value in the service. It's proving that the people that we've matched up so far feel a need for this service to continue and are willing to put money behind that in order to do it. So that's the big kind of change that we've made this week is running an experiment to see A, how many of our members are willing to pay for the service, and B, how much are they willing to pay?
What kind of experiment? Like, you're actually getting them physically to pay?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're asking our members once they kind of complete a feedback survey to say, did you enjoy yourself? And if you did, would you be willing to pay $10? To show that you enjoyed it. We're currently positioning that as a tip. So, we provided the service, would you like to leave a $10 tip for that service? But there's other different ways. We've had recommendations that we do it as a donation or that force it on people. There's a lot of different ways to experiment with it, and this is just the first part. So right now we're positioning it as a tip, positioning it as $10, seeing how people react to that, and then ultimately we'll change the pricing, we'll change our messaging around it and see if that makes things better or worse.
Because it is a balancing act, isn't it? Because for you, I'd imagine you're trying to build a community, you're trying to build up a lot of value in it, because ultimately with any business, you can only charge for it if there's value there, right? And I'm assuming, and maybe you can correct me here, but you're trying to create this community which inherently will build more value, and ultimately then you thought, at that point, then you can work out what sort of model you go down and how much you could charge for it. But I guess right now you're at a point where money is tight. You need that money to continue tech-wise, or resource-wise, and now it's forcing you to think a bit more about the model just before you're ready. It's almost it's chicken and egg, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I started the business about a year ago, and the market conditions for raising capital a year ago are very different to what they are now. There was certainly the last few years. There's been this dream that build it and the revenue will come. You can figure out monetization later, but I think rightly so, there is growing skepticism of that model. You can see how many other startups are struggling in the current market conditions, and their valuations are dropping, and they're having to lay.
And they raise a lot of money too.
They raise a hell of a lot of money.
So it doesn't solve everything, does it?
No, not at all. No, and that's the thing. You need to be bringing in money if you're going to be raising money, and so I'm actually quite grateful for the investors for putting that pressure on us to test these things, because without it, I probably wouldn't have done it. Charging for our service it creates a barrier, and I've been very hesitant to introduce any barriers.
To build the community? Is that what you were trying to do? You thought that the value in the community would outweigh the need to monetize, because once you grow that, you can sort of you can charge for it at that point once you've built it.
Yeah, I believe we have the kind of service that improves with scale. And the bigger we are, the more members that we have, the better service we can provide. And so my initial kind of plan, if you will, was to get as big as possible and then introduce some fees. And that's not something
through like network effects, because there's the more people come on, the more value on the other end to join.
Yeah. So for, without getting into too much detail, I guess, for example, if we've got 10,000 people who have signed up to the service, then we've got such a range. You'll end up just by chance having a range of people with loads of different interests, loads of different ages, loads of different hobbies, loads of different backgrounds and values. Whereas if you only got 500 people, you have quite a limited number of people to choose from, right? So within that 500 people, there's only so much matching you can do. But when you've got 10,000, you can start to give your users more choice, more freedom, more flexibility around what they do. And with that, with additional features, additional choices, you can bring in additional fees. What we're doing now is we've been forced, even earlier this year, to look at that differently and think, okay, where are we providing value and who are we providing value to? Now, for us, we book people straight into a venue, into a pub or into a cafe, and so there's value in it for them. And so our revenue model is to charge them and to bring in value by charging our venues for booking tables and having guests turn up.
So the people that are actually attending the meet, they're almost the loss leader in a sense.
Not for us necessarily, because I guess so. Yeah, if we're paying to bring in the customers, then yeah. But they're also, I guess, they're a commodity in their own right. We're then being a lead generation service.
It's like Apple in a Harvey Norman. They make no money selling Apple products at Harvey Norman, but people come in because they've got Apple product there. And if they didn't, they'd have less foot traffic in that sort of sense.
Yeah, I guess in a way, yeah, you're absolutely right. But we just I had one of the investors I've been speaking to is. Give me some really good advice, and that is that if your users value the service, you should be charging for it, right? Like if there's tangible value in there, put a monetary figure on it, put $1 on it.
But it's a nerve-wracking thing to do, isn't it?
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying going from a free service to suddenly charging people and seeing your numbers drop off, right? Because they're going to, regardless of whether you charge $1 or $10 or $100, you're going to see people who go, nah, too much work, too much cost. I'm not going to do that. And I come from a marketing and kind of growth background, and anything to prohibit that growth seems counterintuitive to me. But ultimately, I'm not here to build, I'm not here to build a free service that kind of grows. It needs to be a business. It needs to be a sustainable, scalable business. And in order for that to happen, there has to be revenue. So, yeah, that's by far our biggest kind of challenge.
It's a big challenge.
It is a really big challenge. Yeah, but
but an enjoyable challenge. Because clearly there's an idea there. Clearly there is a need for it. People are using it. The question is it a business that people will pay for? Because if that's the case, then you've got a business that you can profit off as well, and that's important. That's why you're doing it, right?
Look, no business can grow without any money in it, right? And if investors aren't going to put money into the business without seeing that money's coming into the business, then it's a no-brainer. But look, it is a fun challenge, and it's a rewarding one as well. We had the first payment come through this morning, and I high-fived my developer.
I'll give you a high five for that.
There you go. So
that's awesome.
So he officially made at least $10, which is great. So no, look, it's and that is great to see that
revenue generating business.
Hey, that's
how good's that?
Yeah, exactly. But to be able to see that someone values what you do and they're willing to put money behind it, it's the ultimate, it's the ultimate testimonial, right? If they're willing to pay after they've had the service and they don't have to, you're giving them an option. That's a really, it's a touching moment, and it was pretty good. So it felt pretty good today, but hopefully the first of many, and like I said, we'll experiment and we'll try different ways of doing it, but it was a good moment.
Good stuff.
Tell us a little bit about your upcoming TV appearance. What's the background behind it, and why, or how it could...
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can hear.
Because the mic doesn't pick up.
I thought so. Okay.
Well, let me ask that question.
Yeah.
So there's something in the woodworks regarding you being on TV, and we're on TV now, but this is sort of another level,
it's like
right?
TV. Yeah.
TV.
Channel 7, not YouTube.
Yeah.
There are TV.
There's TV and then there's TV.
Yeah.
There's something going on there. You're going to give us a little bit of insight.
Yeah,
Can you?
Absolutely. I can. Yeah. It's not that exclusive. It's not that big. I wish it was. That'd be fantastic. No, but it is good news. So about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer, 6 weeks ago or so, we were made aware of this competition on an innovators competition where the TV show Kochi's Business Builders on Channel 7 were looking for some of the most innovative businesses in Australia. A friend of mine sent it to me and said, you should apply for this. I did. It went to public vote. We ended up winning the public vote, which is fantastic. So
that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just to cut you off.
Do you know how many Fishburner members vote for you?
I don't know specifically.
Oh, you know what?
I did vote for him.
I hope this doesn't skew. It'll probably skew the result a little bit, but great. So Scott, my business partner, he voted for you across like 5 different email addresses.
Nice.
Scott. So yeah. So this is the beauty of Fishburners, though, isn't it?
It's the community. It's a very supportive organisation, a very supportive network and community of people. It is fantastic, actually. It's helped a lot. I don't know how many people from Fishburners voted. I've had a lot of people from Fishburners talk to me about it. So people have come to me and say, hey, did you win that competition? Or saw you were in this thing, what's going on? And so that's been great. But yeah, our prize is So we won $1,000 in cash from the sponsors Peugeot, but we also get a kind of a 10-15 minute segment on Kochi's Business
That's
Builders,
awesome.
which should air next month, hopefully. I'm waiting for the exact air date, but if you go onto my LinkedIn, there is a video I posted last week where they did a short 2-minute snippet.
What's your LinkedIn for the audience?
So my name's Tam Al-saad, TAM, and then my surname's AL. Link in the description below. I don't need to spell it out. This is the internet.
Because that's the second audience sort of vote you've had. Because I've seen you pitch right here at this stage here on a Friday night, and you had an audience vote, didn't you?
That's right. Look, I'm fortunate that I have a service that people really like. You know, it's caught on a time. They say startups are all about timing, and I think we couldn't be more spot on with ours. You know, coming out of COVID and coming out of lockdown, you know, everybody could see how easy it is to stay connected through digital means, right? Like, I'm from the UK originally. I've spent more time speaking to my family and friends in the UK since COVID than I had in the 5 years beforehand, because you're kind of forced to. I've got no excuse. I've got to call.
And you've been short of money too, right?
And I've been short of money, right? So I've just got to stay home and speak to mum. But you know, as much as we could see we were connected through digital means, what we missed was the physical interaction, right? Like, we all did Zoom drinks or whatever on a Friday night, and none of us liked it. Nobody wants to hold a glass up to a camera and say, "Oh, cheers." You know, what you want to do is cheer somebody in person. You want to hear that clink. You want to look somebody in the eye. You know, we didn't miss speaking to our friends. We missed hugging our friends. We missed seeing them in person. And so I think that timing for us couldn't have been better, as horrible as it was for the world, you know. But coming out of lockdown, we've seen there's a lot more interest around social connection and around bringing people together face to face and getting off of our phones, getting off of our laptops, and moving it back into the physical world and being able to have that interaction. So that's why we picked up some publicity. We actually also had some a really good win this week. You mentioned wins earlier, but I had a journalist reach out to me from Sydney Morning Herald, and he's writing an article about friendship and connection. There was an article last week out saying that Sydney is one of the worst places in the world to make friends.
Was that his article?
No, it wasn't his.
I was just about to ask you that. I read the headline, to be honest, and it was you know, Sydney was the most unfriendly city in the world.
So of I think the 56 or 53 or something cities that Time Out runs their survey, Sydney came third last behind Stockholm and Copenhagen, I think
but we know they're unfriendly generally. I mean, I was surprised that we were.
I've never been. I've never been. I don't know. I've
heard. That's why I haven't been.
Yeah. Fair play. But you know, Sydney's one of the least friendly places in the world to make friends, and so apparently according to Time Out, and so that's piqued some interest. And
is that a good thing or a bad thing for Foura?
I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing because look, anything that starts the conversation around it being hard to make friends is a good thing. But it also, if you're in a place where it is hard to make friends, then you're going to be searching for ways to do it. Or maybe I should say ways, you know, when something comes along that helps you solve that problem, it stands out more because more people have that problem, more people have that desire to do something about it. And so I think it helps us, for sure. It'll be interesting when we expand and go into Melbourne and see how that goes. I've had feedback from an investor that the US might not be a market for us because Americans are so much more friendly than Australians apparently. But apparently New York, someone just stop on the like as you're crossing the road and have a conversation with you, which to me as a Londoner it blows my mind. You don't speak to anybody in public other than your friends, and even then you wait until you're in a pub, you know. But so apparently Americans are a lot more friendly. Hopefully I can let you know in a few years' time when we expand there. But
so the next stop's Melbourne, though, you said.
Yeah, I think.
So how does that work for you guys? Because you know, like obviously you're focused here in Sydney to begin with. It's almost like you would have had your MVP here just to get it going. But you know, we're talking chicken and egg before. You've got that as a business. Like you've got it. You know, at what point do you turn on a city? So if you're going into Melbourne, how do you go about that? Because you need people. You need at least 4 people to get together. Is that what you're just finding 4 people to begin with, or?
Yeah, good question. There's still some stuff to work out there, to be completely frank. I think there's nothing about the way that I've started this business that makes it specific to Sydney. So what I mean by that is I haven't gone to any of the meetups to see if people are having a good time or to make sure that they connect or anything else. I've left that to the venues to facilitate and for each person to just make that happen. I think me being there would take some of the emphasis on them meeting and move the conversation to Foura, which is what I don't want to do. I want people talking to each other about each other, not about the reason why they're there for being Foura. When it comes to our expansion, I think what we'll do is we'll start building a list of people who want to join the platform and start promoting ourselves in Melbourne and saying, if you want to join Foura, if you want to make friends through this service, then sign up and we'll let you know when it's available. And then when we've got enough people, we can then open the floodgates and say, right, it's starting next month. Get your details in and let's go for it, right? And try to build that word of mouth as well. So
go for it. Is that what you said?
I didn't mean unintentionally. Yeah, unintentionally I did say go for it. Yeah, nice one. I'm gonna have to use that. See, this is the brilliant stuff that happens on upstairs after a few drinks on a Friday night.
Yeah. I'm good for a dad joke.
Oh yeah.
At
least we found something you're good for.
I think I'm punny.
That worked.
Some people think I'm punishing though. Hey.
You can be both. But yeah, look, Melbourne's the next frontier, I guess, and it's pretty exciting. But right now, there's still a lot more to do in terms of refining the service here and getting it right before we start looking at expansion.
In what way?
Well, there's still a lot of work we need to do in terms of our tech. Quite frankly, I made a lot of mistakes building the tech at the beginning, but I've now brought on a fantastic developer called Adam. He's upstairs having a drink while I'm sat here talking to you. He's making significant improvements to our platform in order to help us to scale and to make sure that the events run smoothly and the whole management of the process runs smoothly. And once we've got that down to a much a more refined art, I guess, then I can feel really comfortable about expanding. If we're suddenly adding another variable in, if there being another town, another city, another place where we're doing this, it's just going to cause too much complication. So we're trying to keep it simple to begin with, and once it's ready, then really look to scale fast, rather than scale fast immediately, break everything and try to fix 10
different things. You want to lay the
different
foundations
things.
correctly and give you the confidence to tackle new cities confidently.
Exactly, yeah.
But I know that there's been some challenges on the tech front for you. But this is a community, and if you were speaking to someone that's coming into the space, is there any advice that you can give someone regarding the tech side of things? I mean, from what you've learned so far.
Yeah. So I'd say probably the biggest one would be, it sounds foolish, but think about it. Think about it properly. We rushed into it thinking. So we went into lockdown. Sydney went into lockdown last June, right? End of June last year, 2021, and when that happened, we had just started providing our service. I think we'd hosted something like 10 meetups, and then Sydney went into lockdown. And so my idea was, okay, we're probably going to be in lockdown for 3 months. Let's make sure the tech is built by the time we come out. And that was my big thing. And so I found a partner who said they could do that, who they could complete that. It was within budget. It was all reasonable in terms of the cost. So I said, all right, great, let's go for it. Let's just move fast as quickly as we can.
Because that is the thing. I mean, move fast, break things, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Except, and that is a good thing, and most of the time. Except what I didn't do was back it up with enough of the information. So I didn't give them a full enough brief of this is exactly what the platform needs to do. This is the parts where it can go wrong. These are the moving parts that need to happen. These are the most important parts of the platform. And so because I gave such a bad brief, they ended up building a bad platform, and it took way longer than expected. But I also didn't have enough information. You know what I mean? Like we hosted 10 meetups, and I thought I knew enough to be able to build an entire platform that's going to cost. At that point, it was meant to cost $30,000. I needed to be willing and humble enough to do things the difficult way for longer. And in the end, that's what happened. I ended up running the business out of a spreadsheet for a year before we ended up having a platform that was ready. And I tell you what, if I'd done that anyway, and then started building the platform, I'd have a way better platform than I do now.
So what's the takeaway?
The takeaway is don't rush. Do things quickly, but don't rush, I think is the kind of key thing. You know what I mean? It's think things through properly, scope it out well, have a genuine think about what you want to achieve with it, and then give your developers, give the people that you're working with as much detail and as much information as possible to make it happen, and put pressure on it to be done quickly, but don't rush it. Don't forsake quality for speed.
Yeah, I think my takeaway out of that, and this is sort of going through or thinking about my own experiences,
Yeah, because
is
you've been
that
building your own tech as well, right?
well, yeah, but you want to get something out quickly because you got this idea and you're excited by it and you want to see it work. But I think that one of the challenges is that you don't really know what it's going to look like. It takes time, it takes conversations, it takes people using it or not using it or giving feedback to craft the idea. So when you're giving the blueprint to a developer or a team to go, hey, this is what I want, that first sort of version is never really what it's going to look like. And so I think that's part of the problem too. So, like sometimes founders, they'll blame the developer, oh, you build it, in a crappy way and now I'm trying to build on top of it and it's falling over kind of thing. And it happens all the time. But I think what the problem really is that you've got this plan that shifts and it constantly shifts. And it's, it is what it is as a business. And I think that, moving forward, I'm lucky we took this approach with this last business, but that's only because I'd had made the mistakes before. But build an MVP. Build something that it's not going to be the final product and that you're going to probably throw it out, but you're going to take a lot of learnings from it and that you can move forward and have a better plan. And use that, because it takes time. I mean, even for the last business, our MVP was probably 13, 14 months.
Yeah, right.
We spent a bit of money on it too. It's not like a Wix site, where a lot of people would come in here and think that that's kind of what you need to spend to get it. Yeah, it's not. Like an MVP is still going to cost you money and time and all the opportunity
and provide
costs.
value, right? That's the main thing.
But that's the thing. Yeah. And it's either going to tell you it's going to work or not.
So you mentioned, it's always shifting, right? The plan's always changing, the plan's always shifting. So how do you make the call about when to make a decision and say, I know it's going to shift, but you know what, we're going to do it this way for now at least?
I think it comes down to prioritization. I think that, when people talk about the success of a business is really the people behind it. And the biggest determining factor for success and why the people behind it are the ones that are going to make it happen is because they've typically had experience beforehand, right?
Okay.
And I think that it is their ability to prioritize, know what is most important to focus on. You've got a sort of like a 12-month plan, you've got a 6-month plan, you've got a 3-month plan, and for us, there's weekly and daily.
Yeah.
And because things change so often, you almost have to just reassess on a daily basis what is the most important thing that's going to, give us the success that we need.
But with the long-term goal in mind still, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got a business idea, so you have a rough idea what this business is about.
Yeah.
Fundamentally that doesn't change, but crafting your path towards success is always going to change, and there's so many determining factors that you just don't have control over. As much as you want to be in control, and a lot of founders are kind of control freaks.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing because you kind of need to be, believe
you
in yourself.
Know what's going on.
Know
right?
what's going on, but believe in yourself that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you still need to be aware enough to realize that you don't know exactly what's happening tomorrow.
Sure.
And be aware of that so that you can be ready for the next day to go, you know what, that thought that the thing that we were going to work on yesterday, maybe let's just, push it down just a little bit and let's focus on this. And I think that may sound like I may be distracted and I'm sort of like shifting gears all the time. I'm not. I mean, fundamentally, you've got this I don't know how to articulate it, but you've got this, you're working within like a refined sort of plan.
Yeah.
But you're open to just shift a little bit.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're too stiff as well, you're going to be just open to being disappointed all the time.
Oh, you're just going to go off on the wrong course, right?
And you're just disappointed. It's like, oh shit, that didn't work out. This is exactly the plan that we had and didn't work. Now I'm pivoting. It's sort of like, well, it's like an evolving thing. You're creating.
Take smaller steps, basically, right? Take smaller but faster steps, and then eventually you're heading in the right direction. And
I think that going back to the question, I think that's what allows for success. I think that's what allows for good execution.
Yeah.
Even though it probably didn't sound like that the way I articulated it.
No, it makes sense. I think it makes sense.
Yeah. What's the next question? Because it seems like you're sort of taking over this.
I don't know. Yeah, we've just kind of switched roles. I don't know.
Do you want the blazer?
Can I put it on? I don't think it's going to fit me, to be honest.
It hardly fits me right now.
One too many Friday drinks.
Seriously.
the people that are watching online. I believe we have people from England, Israel, the US.
Okay, my name's Alex. I'm the founder of Print.
First-hand dramatic impact of climate change.
We will send a read-only copy.
Please jump on here, send us.
Right, I am joining the conversation again. I was sitting over there, right, watching the deep conversation between Matthew and Tam. And thanks for doing that, Matthew. That
no
was so
problem.
good. But today I want to focus on Tam for the time being. But
We've been doing it the
next
whole time.
one-
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, but I want to ask a couple more questions. But these exactly same question, I'll ask Matthew next time when he is our featured guest, sitting on this side, holding the orange mic.
Okay.
I need to grab this one. Sorry, Matthew.
You don't even get your mic.
No. Okay. So, Matthews, if for those of you
Just sit there and look pretty,
who
man.
want to discover about what is a physio booking platform look like, follow the link in the description. But today, I actually want to know, when is the show on Big TV going to happen?
I don't have 100% confirmation yet. I'm
All right.
still waiting to find out exactly when it is.
All right.
We're
Is it which
expecting-
channel?
It'll be on Channel 7
On Channel 7.
Kochi's Business Builders, which I'm told is on Sunday lunchtimes.
Okay.
So at some point next month or early September, it will be all over my LinkedIn when it happens because you'll be sure I'll be telling people about it for sure.
Anything our community out there could do to help you to make it even bigger than what you have already reached so far?
Foura or the TV episode?
For you.
Yeah, look, I'd just love for people to tell other people about Foura. If you know anyone who wants to meet people, anyone who likes making friends, anyone who likes going out and doing something different, tell them to check out joinfoura.com or our Instagram, our Facebook, our TikTok are all Join Foura. Don't go on TikTok, actually. There's nothing on there yet. But Instagram or the website, joinfoura.com.
So you have an age discrimination policy, so you don't
Not
go
at
TikTok,
all.
so
No,
you don't go too young demographic, is
No,
it?
not at all. We've got everybody from as young as 18 to as old as 74. What we have a problem with is time and content creativity. That's the bigger issue. That's why we're not on TikTok just
What's
yet.
the story behind the name Foura?
So the idea is that we partly that we bring people together, 4 people at a time.
Yep.
So that's where the number 4 comes in, but
Yep.
also Foura, F-O-R-A, being the Roman or Greek word for forum.
Yep.
You know, place used to mean meeting place. You know,
Yep.
a place where people come and exchange ideas and get to know each other and everything else.
Ah.
So that was just a Sunday sat in front of 12 sheets of paper with loads of words on them and just trying to come up with interesting names and then
good.
finding a way that it
Very
worked
good.
together.
I like you said Roman time.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
deep thinking.
Because forum these
Yeah.
days means Reddit, and it means places where people go and talk about movies that they hate or they love or whatever else, right? So, but a forum back in the old days was
Or
a place
it could
to
be
come
Stack
and discuss.
Overflow or GitHub that very geeky people
So
exchange
exactly.
really good ideas.
Yeah, there's all sorts of
Solving
forums,
deep
you're right.
development problems.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you been on there lately? A lot of them aren't very deep.
No, not lately, but I should spend a bit more time on that one. Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so next question is, you mentioned before we start the camera that there is some sort of bumpy bit in your current event volume or sign-up volume.
Yes.
What's the next action that is going to influence that pattern?
So partly it's product-led growth, right? So we need to be
yeah.
able to be talking about the tech problems that
That's
I had in
right, that's
building
right,
it so
yeah.
badly.
That was-
You know, what that means is that we aren't comfortable yet just running the platform as it is. There is still so many bugs and errors that are still
I
being
see.
sped out that we have this kind of discontinuity
So you
of up and down,
held
up and
back
down,
your
up and down.
digital marketing so far.
That's
on
right,
that one.
yeah, to a degree. But once we've got that comfortable and we know that, you know, the more users we put into the funnel, the more users come out the bottom,
Yeah.
then we're able to focus a lot more of our efforts and a lot more of our resources and actual budget on marketing, and we can start attracting a lot more users.
That's great.
So really that's all it is. It's just kind of working out the kinks in the service and then being able to grow from there.
Yeah. Are you aware of that startup from upstairs, Daniel, Free Guy? Have you heard
No.
of them?
No.
Okay, Free Guy, not God, Free Guys.
Oh, no.
It's about content creator can create a local walking guide, tour guide, dining guide, and publish on a platform. It's a two-side marketplace.
That's very
and people
strong,
can follow it. And then after they enjoy it, they can then decide to do a voluntary tip. There is a recommendation, and then they do a tip. And it, according to what last conversation with Daniel, it seems to be taking off quite nicely.
Yeah, I actually met Daniel at another event.
Fantastic.
A few
He's a
weeks
good
ago.
guy.
Yeah,
He's a
you
good guy
definitely should look
from Tank Stream.
Oh,
from
right.
Level 8. Yeah,
That's right.
right.
So much
Right.
better if he was at Fishburners, wouldn't he?
No, I think he's doing fine. He's head of community head of community at Tank Stream.
But like, think
He's
about how
fine.
much better his business would go if he worked.
He's fine. He's fine upstairs. We are good friends. Daniel, we are good friends. You don't need to change anything. Brett, Daniel is fine up there.
Or come to Fishburners,
Yeah, that's
you know,
right. We
that's-
don't need everyone to come to
Track.
Fishburner,
It's
but
like-
we're happy to talk to anyone. No, but Brett and Daniel, you're free to join us for this conversation. This is part of the Sydney Startup Hub community
open
that we can
conversation.
chit-chat on anything. We don't need people to change hub yet. But have you looked into the Free Guy business model?
Not properly. No, like I said, I met Daniel a few weeks ago and we had a conversation.
Fantastic.
I want to look into partnering with him to provide additional experiences for our members, so they're not just meeting in
that's great.
pubs or venues.
Yep.
So it's on the cards to speak to him about doing
Yep.
that, but we haven't got around to that point yet. We've still got
Yep.
other kind of parts to refine within our
I
core service.
think, I'm not 100% sure, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone watching this video, comment in the below. I think Daniel mentioned that it was originally it's a walking tour, holiday, tourist kind of guy. Then because of COVID lockdown, become a local local excursion guy.
That's right.
And then somehow people start to introduce restaurant or pub crawl guy.
Yeah.
And then it somehow
It's just kind of
it's
taking
taking
off.
off.
From
It's
them.
exactly.
Look, I
All
should
the
speak to him. No,
variety
you're right.
bubble
I
up
should
from
speak
the
to him.
community.
I should definitely speak to him. This is the other stuff that's good about having these
Yeah.
Friday drinks, right? Is you
And-
just get pointed out to somebody else who you haven't met yet, and it's like,
Yeah.
hey, have you guys spoken to them? Go speak to them. You know,
That's
it's,
right.
Serendipity.
Seren-
Serendipity.
There we go.
There.
Word of the
Honestly,
day.
that's one of the things that people don't talk about enough. When you work from home, we can all work from home. We could have worked from home before COVID. Anyone that works at Fishburners could have worked from home or a cafe. Why were we here before that?
Indeed.
Because of those serendipitous moments.
Yep.
And honestly, if it's looking to raise money, find. Sorry, I'm taking over here.
no, it's
I'm
all
just
right.
saying, I'm very passionate about this. Come in here. Opportunities, you know.
They call
Here
them
I am.
serendipity,
This is the
Matt.
first time I ever hosted a show, and I'm the first host to be cut off halfway through it as well. But whatever, it's all a bit of fun. Anyway, back to you.
No, actually, thanks, thanks, Matthew, for being brave enough to spend time with us in this live stream. And actually, you should be hosting one of our. Have you hosted our Fish Night recently?
I can't do real people, real life. There's no way I could stand up in that many people.
Come on, this is live.
Yeah.
This is uncut. This is raw edit version.
Oh my God, this actually tells you how many people. There's
There is
4,000 people watching right now.
There is at least one people watching.
No, it says 4,000. No, I don't think I could do it. Honestly, I don't think I could do it.
You could do it. You
No,
could totally do
I'm
it.
actually very,
Couple
very
more
shy.
glasses of red wine, you'll be fine.
Okay, maybe that's what I got to do.
Okay. I think we already stretch our limit of,
okay, yeah, fair enough.
of the entertainment value.
It's
But-
just dropped from
all right.
4,000 to 3,000 viewers.
So, if someone watching this one, you ask for one call? Do you need more staff? Do you need more investor or anything?
Yes. Yeah. We are raising at the moment. We are raising investment. We're raising a pre-seed round. If there are any angel investors or VCs watching, be more than happy to have a chat. But more importantly, sign up to the service. You know, that's our biggest priority, is getting more people a meeting and more people making friends in Sydney. You know, that's ultimately what we're here for. So joinfoura.com, that's the website, joinfoura.com, or search Foura, or search Find Mates Not Dates. Any of those searches
Foura.com,
should bring you to us.
Very good. Thank you, Tam.
Welcome.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Next time, we will have Matthew. After we load him with several glasses of wine, then we will have a conversation about physio booking. I am the...
What are you?
I,
The man with the red microphone.
after 3 beers. Okay. I've been keep telling Matthew and Scott that I don't understand why physio is a needed services, but apparently there is a huge demand for physio services.
Have you used the
Out of-
Physio? It's great.
I'm
really helpful.
actually no, I never use a physio.
You should-
So that's why I keep
Matt,
telling him.
how can he find a physio? How can he find a physio?
Or bookphysio.com. But you know what? We're here to help people. And if you don't need physio, we're not going to tell you to go see a physio. We want to help the people that are genuinely interested in needing to help them. You're a fit man. Look at you.
Okay, time's up, and we'll interview Matthew next time in one of the coming Friday nights. See you.
Thank you.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.